Today's ceasefire deal could bring welcome relief to those caught in the middle of the war between Israel and Hezbollah. But the more than 1 year of fighting has already destroyed many lives and livelihoods, including those of the many Syrian refugees who are sheltering in Lebanon. It's led to a steady flow of those people trying to return to Syria, which is east of Lebanon. Special correspondent Leila Molana Allen takes us to meet people desperate to cross the border.
On the road again. More than a decade after the Syrian civil war drove millions of refugees into neighboring Lebanon, war has come to their new home. Israeli airstrikes have left hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees, as well as Lebanese, running for their lives. This is a common scene here now. Families huddled under one borrowed blanket, children playing barefoot in the street. Many of these families have tried to find places in a shelter. They're often turned away. So they sleep here, on the streets, in mosque courtyards, in a disused parking lot.
Look, he tells me, this is where we cook, we eat, we dress, everything.
Ikhlas and her 6 children have been living here since the Israel-Hezbollah war began. In the first week, a strike hit the house next to theirs in South Lebanon.
I was at home with my daughters, and all I saw was a plane flying over the building in front of us. In seconds, it became fragments. Some fell onto our balcony.
They fled north to Saida that night. They escaped with their lives, but little else.
The situation is frightening. We're living on the streets. Look at my baby boy. He's sick here on the bare ground, in the open, without a shelter over his head.
A young mother with a large family to feed and keep warm. And a bitter winter is just beginning. Ikhlas says she's mentally and physically exhausted and doesn't know how long she can keep living like this.
Our hearts are burning with fury. I lie awake all night. Look at these girls. They haven't had a moment of real childhood. Our future is lost.
Many of these refugees have spent years building new lives for themselves, finding casual work in the fields, saving up to pay rent rather than living in a makeshift tent, forming new communities. That's all gone now. The Masna border in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley is the main crossing point for most of the hundreds of thousands of Syrians who fled here. Now they're moving the other way. Nearly 500,000 have crossed since the war started. Some men, knowing they won't find work on the other side, are sending their families back while they stay on, braving the bombs to earn a living. Abir is suddenly all alone. Her 4 small children cling nervously to her dress as she tries to carry the few bags she could manage, packed in panic from a whole home of belongings.
I left everything behind. I left my husband behind too, and I don't know what might happen to him. It's not safe in Syria either, but we don't know where else to go.
This isn't the first time she's made such a journey, but last time at least she knew her destination was safe. She's been here since the start of the Syrian civil war. Her children have never seen Homs, the devastated Syrian city she's from. But now it's their home in Beirut suburbs being targeted. The family barely got out alive before their house was hit.
Everything is gone. War is everywhere. Here in Syria too. Our life is in ruins. I don't know if we'll even reach Syria or if they'll let us in. I swear to you, we are so exhausted from constantly moving from one place to another. Will it ever end?
Even as they flee, the threat of the bombs follows them. This crossing was blasted open by a huge airstrike, which Israel says was targeting tunnels used for smuggling. But it's the only way back for most, so climbing through the rubble on foot, still they come.
People used to be able to drive across the border here, but since the airstrike hit, they're now having to navigate this massive crater in the middle of the road, trying to carry everything that they have. Officially, Israel hasn't bombed anyone here because we're in no man's land. No one except the hundreds of people fleeing for their lives.
These desperate people don't know what they'll find when they get to the Syrian side of the border, whether they'll be allowed in, whether they'll be immediately arrested by the regime. Some are trying to cut north up to rebel-held territory in Idlib and West Aleppo without being caught. A few families have made it up to this besieged enclave of 4 million people. Derham's family walked all the way. They made it, but spent all their meager savings in the process.
We spent 7 days on these streets and walked around 200 miles. We're left with nothing now. We don't even have water to drink.
Little Maher misses his life in Lebanon. He was born there. For him, it's home.
We were happy in Beirut. I used to go to school and I was so happy.
Durham's family and hundreds like them now face immense hardship in return for a tiny measure more of safety. In recent weeks, the Assad government has once again stepped up its shelling and airstrikes on communities here. But some never got the chance to make that trade. Fatma and Ismail Barakat fled the war in Homs a decade ago and settled deep in Lebanon's southern farmlands, where they married, found work, and had their 4 little girls. A month ago, everything changed.
We were having breakfast with my father-in-law and brother-in-law, and then I don't remember anything. The next day, I found myself at the hospital, in pain, and I couldn't see.
Their entire house was brought down by an Israeli airstrike. Fatma and 5-year-old Noor were severely injured. Noor lies silent, staring at her mother. They both still have several surgeries to endure.
I haven't seen my other daughters as well. I miss them and I am longing to see them.
But Fatma won't see her little girls again. 8-year-old Kamar, 3-year-old Asinel, and 6-month-old Salha all died under the rubble of their home. Ismail can't face telling Fatma the truth. He fears she'll die of a broken heart.
I was just out buying bread for breakfast when the airstrike hit the building. I ran home only to find them lying on the ground, my 3 little girls, all dead. Please tell me what to do. I lost them. Little Salha was only just born. Her mother was still breastfeeding her. She's gone.
Ismail and Fatma's story is that of so many here. They came for safety. They suffered as outcasts. Now, they face the same fate as if they'd stayed in Syria, a decade delayed.
We fled Syria to seek safety from that war, so I could secure a better life for my family. Hope. What's hope? I lost my father, my brother, my kids. I lost hope in everything.
Hopeless, homeless. After surviving so much, Lebanon's Syrian refugees see only despair ahead. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Layla Milana Allen in Saida, Lebanon.